I'm going to check critical. He says it's getting scary now. What are you on about, long hair brother?
No, it can't be. I was reassured that AI data centers were good for people, good for all of us, the future of mankind. Investing trillions of dollars, selling out every piece of land in this country for AI data centers to help us. But now, I think the cracks are starting to show. I think the truth is starting to leak out, and, well, don't worry, BlackRock has solutions for that. Larry
I always love his introductions. He's got great sarcasm.
Fink made a really cool statement about how they're going to protect it from the domestic terrorists that might not want AI data centers, which I think is a really cool label to be slapping on normal, average working people that just don't want to see their energy bill skyrocket and their water get turned into fucking sludge soup. Oh, you fucking terrorist! What, you don't like the data center, do you?
Yeah, you see, the problem with that is that it's probably, unfortunately, this semantic shift, this is what we call it in the language community. The fact that you can take this can and say, this can is homophobic, this can is racist, this can is a terrorist, is that it's delusion. It's delusion. Is when you take a word and you apply it to whatever the heck you don't like, it dilutes it to a point where it's irrecognizable. It lost its original field, communicative field, and it's now used for whatever you don't like. People do it all the time. And I'm going to be honest with you, okay? On the right, we kind of overuse woke. Okay? I said it. Absolutely. People slap woke for anything they don't like. True. On the left, it's going to be fascist, Nazi, racist, bigger, grifter. Do right-wingers use grifter, by the way? I don't even know. You let me know, chat. Please educate me. But I feel like more and more words are losing meaning these days. And apparently terrorist is one of those as well, isn't it?
Well, welcome to the gulag. It's pretty unhinged, but I'll get to that in a moment. I want to show you something that I just learned about that I think is extremely alarming. This is so far the biggest public goat-seeing from the data center epidemic, where in Lake Tahoe, 50,000 residents have just been informed that in 2027, their energy provider is abandoning them to focus solely on the energy demands of the AI data centers in the
well, you know, that's bad, no matter where you look at it from. I mean, that's it's not great.
Area. Now, this probably doesn't come as a surprise to anyone who's been paying attention to what's been going on. All companies are finding ways to butt fuck the normal person and focus entirely on suckling the bosom of AI. Not just for data centers, but let's take a look back about 5 months ago, which is like ancient history with the way everything's been moving.
That's actually true. In internet sense, when it comes to the cyberspace, that's like going back to the Mesolithic. Yes, right-wingers use the word grifter. I appreciate that. So, as I say, woke and grifter, overused by the right. Grifter, Nazi, fascist, and the rest overused by the left. Can we bring back speaking with meaning? Like, I'm using a word based on its real meaning. Personally, I think that would be great. That's just me, though. Crazy take, I know. Absolutely crazy take. What can you do? Some company abandoning people for AI. Yeah, that's not dystopian. You know what's crazy? What I like about this topic, it's one of those topics which is up to down. So like power, hungry, powerful elites, and then the rest of us, which is why I think regardless, it doesn't become bipartisan, right? It becomes a situation where, okay, that's not good for the people. Doesn't matter where your politics are at that point. And that's why I like this topic, because it can kind of get people together who have different ideas on other issues. And then we can all agree, yeah, no, that's not great. That's not great. Let's go.
With Micron. Do you remember when Micron did one of these to all the normal consumers that relied on their RAM being one of only 3 big players in RAM production? Right. Well, Micron, 5, maybe 6 months ago now, announced that they will be getting out of that sector entirely. Took every consumer's head and just put it in the toilet, giving them a nice swirly, saying, fuck you nerds, we've got AI now. Then threw on their sunglasses and never looked back. Which inevitably caused the big RAM crisis and the prices to skyrocket there because of now the impending RAM shortage that would be unfolding, because again, Micron was one of only 3 big RAM producers. And
I really hope that, you know, they fix this, and I hope that my computer doesn't die or anything. It's working fine, but I really don't want to spend money on RAM right now. I'd rather spend it on diapers. Thank you so much. Good. I've had this computer for a few years. It does have a 4090, so I future-proofed it. 32 gigabytes of RAM. This computer is powerful. I play like a lot of games on it.
They just outright said, we will no longer be providing to the consumer market starting this year.
Awful.
So they did that because AI was more lucrative, and now you're seeing everything else go in that direction. And this is the first example, the first big example of just an energy company that 50,000 people rely on to live, just hitting that Harry Houdini vibe and vanishing on them, saying, don't really care about you plebeians. Flesh and blood is cringe. AI is the future. We gotta go take care of AI. I mean, good luck out there, though. Maybe you'll find other power suppliers, but it won't be us. Bye-bye. NV Energy, the Nevada utility that has supplied the bulk of Lake Tahoe's electricity for decades, told Liberty Utilities, the small California company that services the region, that it will stop providing power after May 2027. The reason? NV Energy needs the capacity for data centers, as in the energy supplier for the Lake Tahoe region is telling the utility company that it has less than a year to find another power source. Which shouldn't be a problem. They maybe just need to dig a few feet underground to find the fucking Tesseract, and maybe they can install that.
Brother, I'm gonna say it. This guy swears so much. It's a pain to edit these React videos, Penguin. Critical Charlie. I'm gonna say, like, I get it. He made, like, you shared it. He made like $41 million over his entire career on social media. So I'm sure he's fine, even if what is it called, RPM, the amount of money you make for 1,000 views and whatever. Even if that one is relatively low, it doesn't matter because he's set for life. Splendid. I am happy for you. Critical also because he's a very generous and altruistic man, done a lot of charity. All of that is fantastic. But man, you make my life hard. When it comes to that, I need to go there and remove every time he uses the freaking F word and all this.
Surely that won't be a huge issue. I imagine that'll be without hiccups. Doesn't this paint the most beautiful picture? It's always been abundantly clear companies don't give a fuck about you or anything, but now that companies see a way of cutting you out while still driving up their own profits, they are frothing at the mouth for it and jumping on board. They are abandoning ship on people because they don't need people anymore thanks to AI. So these data centers in this area are now the entire focus of NV Energy, and they are just saying, these 50,000 people, they can go kick rocks, pussy, good luck. And I imagine this will not be an isolated incident. This is something I've yapped about a lot. It's something that is very well known about data centers in particular.
When something becomes profitable, they will copycat it 100%. 100%.
For the energy demands. And as these companies get a lot of incentive to focus that energy on those data centers, they'll start to make the same decisions that we are seeing here from NV Energy, where they don't really need to supply energy to people. Ew, stinky people, human beings. Oh, no. So they can instead just focus entirely on AI data centers and making a fucking killing in the clams department through it. So they'll abandon people without a second thought. It doesn't matter to them. And I think we're going to continue to see this trend happening in places that are having this big push for AI data centers. Northern Nevada has become one of the fastest growing data center corridors in the country.
How is Northern Nevada, by the way? Have you ever been, chat? Thank you for, a lot of people on chat on Rumble right now, almost 5,000 people. I don't know if they're bots. I haven't got a clue. You know, there's this conspiracy theory on Reddit that they say that I buy subscribers on YouTube, which I thought was hilarious. Like, you really think that I don't even know how you do it. I've never bought anything. But it's funny because you really think I would take money from my son for what? My ego? Like, how they get me that wrong, I have no idea. So anyways, anyone says hi, if you say hi on Rumble, we see how many of these people are real. We are real people. Well, I'm glad that there are real people. That's great. Someone wrote, I'm a bot. Oh, that's funny.
This article also goes...
It's really a shame because AI does have some potential that is excellent. Like, of course, I use it for language models because they are advanced language models. All of these Google this and which drives me nuts. Then people use it for history. They ask it history things and then they think, no, it's a language thing. So of course, it's going to mess up the history stuff. Sometimes it does it right. Sometimes it does it wrong. It's not reliable. It hallucinates, by the way. That's what you say when they, like, if you ask for a citation, a quotation, sometimes they're real, sometimes it's hallucinated. But for language training, it's excellent. For translation, it's fantastic. So these, and I guess if you want to, with some, I don't know, if you're lonely, you want to talk to someone, they're pretty good with that too. But there is some real danger when it comes to AI. It's inevitable. There's nothing we can do about it. I just hope that it doesn't become Skynet. That's all I'm going to say.
And also would
Okay.
lead to higher costs to these residents that have been abandoned.
Yeah.
It's going to be passed down to them. So no matter what happens next, them being completely, thrown to the dirt by NV Energy in favor of them supplying the power to data centers, no matter what happens next, if they do get an alternate power source player to come in to help them, it will most likely lead to a significant increase in their cost. Their bills are going to go up. So
It is awful. Land price is influenced by a lot of factors. Like even when you build, for crying out loud, even if you build a shopping mall or if you build whatever, an attraction, a touristic attraction, a stadium for football, it's going to change the pricing of the land. As just one of the many reasons. And of course, I'm no expert. So, I mean, this is a little bit inevitable, but it is annoying and it is terrible for the people that live there.
they're getting f***ed no matter what happens. I recommend you read the entire article from Fortune if you're at all interested in the nuance and the inner workings of how this garbage is unfolding. There's like a back and forth here where NV Energy's like, oh, they knew this was coming and it's their fault for not being able to secure a new independent power supply, that kind of thing. It's been going on for a while. We've always said it's temporary. We've just extended our agreements for a while and they've been dragging their feet on replacing us, that kind of thing. There's really a lot to unpack here, and there is no like regulatory oversight that can come in and help fix this, even though there are arguments being made that there should be something out there. And
Yeah, and then they're going to get bought. The regulatory committee. I think it would have to be. I actually don't know. When it comes to policy, what the heck do I know? I don't know what the solution would be to this.
protesting how this is even allowed to happen, how the power provider could just be like, actually, we're just going to focus on AI. The 50,000 residents that rely on our power to live, they're, who were they? I already forgot about them. Like, there's been a lot of arguments, there's a lot to it, so the article goes pretty in-depth on it. As for what's next in the region, Liberty told customers that NV Energy will remain the transmission provider. The wires aren't going anywhere, so that's nice. They didn't just dig up the wires and throw them in a fucking
Oh, gee, thanks, man.
landfill or something. So the question is, who's going to supply the electricity that flows over them and what that cost will be and whether the regulators can protect customers whose upstream grid sits outside California's usual planning structure.
All right, let me
And
see
then-
the part with the interview. I don't know who that is. Well, no, actually, let me see this part. Let's go.
Who, by the way, likes to continue LARPing as an American. He's not.
Oh, yeah, he's talking about the
these
Canadian
days.
guy.
Other regions across the country
Let's see.
do not matter at all when it comes to these data centers. Let's take a look at Utah.
okay.
The Kevin O'Leary clown show, his fucking circus, who, by the way, likes to continue LARPing as an American. He's not. He is a bald Canadian bitch ass. And yet he still comes over here and tries to preach about American values and
Isn't he like a little flip-flop? I think he used to be a liberal up to 2014 and then he switched conservative. That's the only thing I know about the Canadian chap. I don't know his takes. I don't know what he says. But let's see what he thinks. What does Critical thinks?
why the data center is like the most patriotic thing you can do. Cringe, pathetic, worm demon.
Man, that was a combo. That was like a killer combo from Killer Instinct. Cool. I mean, sure, it's not patriotic to make the. I'll agree with that.
Anyway, in Utah, all of the people were voicing how much they didn't want it, the disdain. They would not support it. Please don't. Begging, groveling, do not let this data center project be approved.
Yeah. So imagine like all the LDS churches. They're doing the sacrament meeting. And then the singing hymns, because they change them every time, right? They put the different numbers. And imagine that they're starting to sing, instead of the Kolob song, it could be like no energy in Utah, no AI in Utah. That could be pretty cool. I think that's probably what happened.
40,000 acre data center. The largest.
How much?
Be approved. A 40,000 acre data center.
Yeah, it's like the people don't matter.
The largest imaginable. Like genuinely, I cannot even fathom something that big. a 40,000 acre data center is fucking diabolical. And the geriatric fossils that were approving this project, who are supposed to be representing the people in the community, outright said, one of them verbatim said, "For hell's sake, grow up."
Oh yeah, no, that's annoying. At this point, I don't care what your political positions are. It's bad. You don't say grow up to the people that own the land. And I mean, then again, if you buy land, you can do whatever you want in it. I mean, that's how it works. But don't tell the people to grow up if it's going to actually impact their lives. That's wrong. Like, no matter how you look at it. You say, well, that's very insulting to me as a Canadian. I don't think he was talking about someone like you. It's a different type of Canadian he was referring to in this case. I don't think it was the Canadian part that was the thing. Diabolical is trending on YouTube. It's actually funny. I need to start using it more. Goodness gracious. All right, let's go.
A crazy statement, and I do believe they are fighting for hell. They are demons on the side of Satan. So, like, these fucking octogenarians, in the face of all the community that went out there, and there was a huge number of people yelling, screaming, begging, stop, don't do it, don't, no data centers. In front of all of them, they insulted the people, berated them, and then went into their own private room to get away from all the riffraff, all the hustle and bustle and hoopla, so that way they could unanimously push it through to greenlight the 40,000 acre data center.
I mean, think about it. I own land in America, right? Becoming a citizen next month, by the way. So I own land in America. I bought a house. I bought land with trees and whatever. I'm very grateful for it. I thank the Lord every day for this great blessing for my family, that I can pass it on to my Italian-American children maybe, in the future, we'll see. And if I want to make a different fence, I need to ask permission, because there are fences, right, in this area, and they have a certain color, they have a certain pattern, and so there is an association that I need to, homeowners, that I need to contact, to say, hey, I would like to do this. Clearly, it's going to impact the looks of the area. It's got to be approved. We need to make sure that, it doesn't... I can't just build you know what? I'm going to build a barn, and I'm going to make it so tall, and I'm going to put it just in front of the windows of my neighbor. No, right? Because I'm cutting... So it's interesting how homeowners have to be cognizant of the surroundings of their own property, but these people, 40,000 acre, and who cares, grow up? Holy moly. Unbelievable.
That goes in the face of all of the people that they are supposed to be representing the interests of. So it's pretty clear that even having representation of like the will of the people does not matter. These data centers are being built and brute forced through because most likely all of these politicians and the people in power in these communities are getting a nice little chunk of change for it. Some real strong incentives.
True.
And they don't care about the people. And there's no consequences. There are literally no consequences anymore across the board. You can lie, you can scam, you can fraud, all of this, and there is nothing that happens. Nothing at all. So they feel very emboldened to just blatant.
Yeah, there need to be better regulations. I mean, we're not talking about big government here. We're talking about the very basics of decency when it comes to the people. I mean, I agree with him on that.
Openly be corrupt, and that's what's happening. So these data centers, they are coming. They're showing no signs of slowing down. It's extremely concerning. It's extremely infuriating.
Yeah.
And BlackRock is already planning for people to feel like forced into a corner and doing something drastic, like maybe trying to destroy a data center.
And the need for rebuilding the GCC region, to rebuild it so that it's going to be in a position where it's not going to be obstructed by drone warfare. So many more
drone warfare.
More things going to have to be underground. But even here in the United States, if we're going to be building, let's say, these 1 gigawatt...
Oh, he was talking about... Okay, sorry. For a moment, I'm like, what is he on about?
Data centers. How do we make sure we're not protecting those $50 billion, $75 billion investments? we have to relook at everything because of the role of drone warfare. Right now, we're looking at it internationally, but
He is talking about drone warfare then.
one of my concerns is, could it be a domestic terrorism using a $3,000 drone?
These slimy husks, these zombies, are getting so comfortable calling anyone that goes against the corporations selling out of this country and their land terrorists. Oh, you don't support the companies coming in here with 3,100 data centers springing up in your communities, driving up your energy bills, ruining your water, polluting your community? Oh, that must make you a domestic terrorist.
I mean, he's right. We need to use the terms correctly. Hassan Piker is a domestic terrorist, but this is a little bit out of. I agree. This is crazy. Not to mention, how you make people happy? Since these companies make enormous, stellar level profit, why don't they invest a minute percentage of that and actually help the community, right? So you see this data center is going to take this land and it's going to take this energy and it's going to crank up the costs for this section of the population. We can measure it. It's measurable. Well, then how about we take a small, little, minute percentage off of the money we're going to make, and we're going to use it as a fund to kind of make sure that these costs are covered by the company. Why couldn't they do that? It's not going to make any difference to them. And the people will be like, okay, we appreciate that. Like, it's so strange to me. Maybe it's me not understanding business. Perhaps it's me speaking in a utopian sense. Maybe you tell me, no, they can't do this because regulation number 704, I haven't got a clue. But isn't there is no way? It's so strange to me, tactically I'm speaking. It's so strange because I don't think it would be that difficult to at least show something when it comes to, who knows?
Buster, or at the very least, you might have some ideas that are adjacent to domestic terrorism. A little bit of thought crime, perhaps? You don't like the data centers? Well, let's go ahead and check the surveillance data we've gathered on you through these data centers and see what we've got. This is Larry Fink of BlackRock. BlackRock is a huge player in the data center boom. And now he's openly talking about, well, how do we protect these multi-billion-dollar investments and the trillions of dollars that might need to be spent in order to secure them? Because what if a domestic terror...
See, that's what I mean, though. If you're going to spend a lot of money for security, is it because you think, it's a problem that the people are mad? Wouldn't it be monumentally less expensive to make the people happy so that you don't have to invest trillions of dollars for security because the people are mad? Is my logics breaking down? Maybe.
Starts using drone warfare on them. So it seems like there's a recognition from people like Larry Fink, these fucking zombies at the top of the food chain, that people are feeling backed into a corner. Everything in their life is getting more expensive, and data centers are only continuing to accelerate that issue. And the normal lies are...
And the war is making everything more expensive. Nos B says Charlie's cringe. I like Charlie. I think some of his ideas are cringe, like when he talked about transitioning kids, but he retracted that. And I believe people. You see, I'm a good faith person. Differently from my haters, where they give me the most, like I say, Cleopatra was not black, and automatically they say, oh, he must be racist. They give me the worst possible bad faith, right, for a take that is it's fine. It's nothing wrong. It's the truth, for crying out loud. Never, always bad faith. He made a take when it comes to truth because he was having that discussion with Sneeko, and then Sneeko, who's a douchebag, he gave him this like trick question. Charlie didn't even know that he was live. We need to give context. Not live, sorry, that he was recorded. And so what happened is that Sneeko did tell him, like, so what do you think about transitioning kids and chopping them off in pieces, mutilation, whatever the heck? And then Charlie said, yeah, if the parents are fine with it, which is an awful take, absolutely not. No transitioning children whatsoever. Adults, do whatever the heck you want, free country, but children, absolutely not. But he retracted it. He said, look, I didn't know that it was being recorded. I didn't know we were having a debate. I was just talking. When he gave me that question, he said it. I watched it. guys. Yeah, I watched it. He said, guys, I was being hyperbolic. Of course, I don't. He said, it's not like children are actually going through the surgery. And then people corrected him and like, no, it's actually happening. It's very small, the percentage of cases. So he didn't know that it's actually happening with children and minors. And then he thought, I thought it was obvious that he said his words, Critical said, I thought it was obvious that I was being hyperbolic and that I wouldn't be okay with chopping off, cutting into pieces at an 8-year-old. I'm like, well, I appreciate you saying that. And so after he said that, I'm like, fine. He said he doesn't mean it. I'm not going to be like, oh, he doesn't, I think he's lying. I don't do that. I like giving, particularly for someone like him who's done so much charity over the years. I'm good. He retracted it. I'm cool with it. That's how I address content creators. And yeah, some of his mistakes of whatever they are, he used to feature Destiny, who is a scumbag, but he stopped. After Destiny started laughing at death, I noticed that he stopped covering him. And one thing that Critical did, and I'm gonna say it because a lot of his audience is progressive and he knows it, but when Charlie Kirk died, he made a video and he said, usual the grass is green take by me, usual obvious take by me, but it's not good, it's bad, and it's an awful thing that someone gets assassinated for their beliefs. He said it. No, it's not the greenest grass take, brother, and a lot of people in his audience hated it. But he said it, so I'm good with Critical. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. Considering my bar is low, guys. Considering all the disgusting demons, spawns that laughed at Charlie Kirk's death and pushed for more violence, all it takes from me, we can have completely opposite religious and political ideas as long as you say, you know, I disagreed with Charlie Kirk, but he didn't deserve to die. It's an awful thing that happened, and people that are laughing at scumbag, I'm good with you. We're fine. Not a problem. It's really that low. That's my bar, my friends. What do you think about the JQ? I have no idea what that is. I heard Shoe on Head say it, mention it, but I don't know what that is. So anyways, that's the reaction to Critical. I think, I mean, good points. I agreed, I think, with almost everything. And again, I don't know much about that politician in question that he talked about. But on this issue, whatever else he says, I have no idea. But on this issue, I got to say, it's quite cringe, brother. And in general, to tell people to grow up when we are talking about their living expenses, no, that's out of place.